Hey guys, it is Laura Hogan here at Pictura Studios with the tip of the week. So I have been getting a lot of questions about how to do different kinds of dot work onto various kinds of pottery. So I thought we could focus on how to do dot work today for our tip of the week. So I have a few different techniques here that I'm going to show you. One of them being with little squeeze bottles. And then we have these little nibs at the top that have different sizes that you can get different size dots with. And then also a nifty little trick with the back of a paintbrush, which is really good to use. So what I'm gonna start out with is our first little nib tool. So it's really long, but it's plastic, so it's a lot easier to wash and it doesn't get as clogged as some of the metal ones that people have used in the past. So I just have an example piece here, and somebody has put a really nice kind of lotus looking flower on there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up nice and close so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to bring my glaze down into my nib, and I just get enough out so it gives a nice little dot, just like that. So you just want to bring out enough that you're getting good amounts onto the surface, but not so much that it's going to kind of run everywhere. So you just, again, choose your surface area, and then it's kind of just like doing polka dots. So these little nibs are really great for getting very precise sort of raised dot work going on there. And then these longer pieces, sometimes people have a harder time controlling. So we have another kind that you can really get up close to the surface and really put the glaze just right there on the surface, if you can see. And you can go a lot quicker with it as well, because it's almost like using a marker. You can just dot it right all alongside there, and it makes it nice and thick, so you don't have to go back and do multiple layers. When you're doing dots with kind of a more traditional way that you would think, like with a paintbrush, so I've got a paintbrush here, and you come in, I'm gonna get some glaze on my paintbrush, and you can come in and do nice dot work. And get my camera there with a paintbrush, but it's gonna depend really on the tip of the paintbrush and how it comes out on the surface. So if you can see there, my paintbrush, even though it's got kind of a nice flat pointed tip, it still is bringing out those dots in not as symmetrical of a pattern as the nib tools. That is not to say that you can't get that with a paintbrush, but even with getting them nice and precise, you will have to go back and do kind of multiple layers in order to really bring out the distinct color of those dots. Whereas with the nib tools, you can just do a nice squeeze, you'll get it nice and thick, and you only have to do it once. Another really great tip for getting symmetrical dots is you dip the back of a paintbrush handle. My zoom is not working as well today. There we go. So you dip the back of a paintbrush handle into your glaze, and then you, again, bring it right up to the surface. Get it there. And we'll go right there, and then you just dot right onto your surface. And this can give you a variation of size. So the more glaze you have on your paintbrush tip, or the back of the paintbrush, so actually the paintbrush handle, the bigger the dot is going to be. And then as you begin to run out, they get nice and small. So you can kind of do a gradation of sizes that you might want. And this, again, it makes it nice and thick. So you only have to do that once. And it makes them very symmetrical in terms of the sizing. So let's see if we go there, just like so. And you come down and you keep going, and see how it kind of just gets smaller the less glaze is on the paintbrush tip. So that's a great way for kind of gradations in sizing for your dot work. So alternatively, if you wanted to do larger dot work, you can draw with pencil onto your piece. It'll burn off in the kiln, so you won't see the pencil marks, and then you can trace over where you'd like those polka dots. So I'm not gonna do, there is pencil lines on here, as you can see, for just kind of playing around with different line work. So if you really wanted to have a precise line, you can first draw on the surface and then just follow the line. But if you wanted to do larger dots, I'd say that you can use your nibs and then just slowly bring it out kind of as big as you want, and you can get it nice and thick, and then you just kind of almost guide it to where you want it to be, and you can get bigger surfaces much like that. I'm not going to turn it too much because I don't want it to drip. So if you're doing bigger pieces or bigger dots, you just want to give it a good amount of time to dry so it doesn't run off of the surface. And then you can do smaller dots around here. Just like so. Ta-da! So if you have any questions, or you feel like I didn't give quite enough of an understanding, or you just want to have a comment or anything, please don't hesitate to drop anything that you'd like to say down in the comments. And we will see you again next week for another tip of the week. Thank you so much. Have a good week, guys.